I am the Humble Seer.
Hello and welcome to the Humble Seer. So let's talk about Jimmy Hoffa. He wants to come through, and what I'm getting is I'm everywhere. This is what I'm getting from Jimmy Hoffa. I'm everywhere, and so what I get from that is that his body is everywhere. It's a little graphic, but his body, in other words, he was taken out, he was killed, and his body is just in different places. His body parts are in different places. Like an arm is here in Newark, and a leg is over in Las Vegas. An arm is in another part of Las Vegas. I mean, it's just that simple. That's what I see. That's what I'm getting. I get the visual and I hear it. It's like he's telling me the story. Okay, you can believe it or not. That's just what I get. That card wanted to come out, and we'll pull a couple more, and then we'll get into more of it. What wanted to fly out? Yeah. The Nine of Swords. Those who watch my videos enough know that the Nine of Swords is a celebrity card. And he was somewhat of a celebrity, but that is, we'll get into that. All right, let's get a couple more cards on the board, and then we'll tell his story. All right, I think that should do it. Okay, so we've got the Nine of Swords to start. Then we have the Ten of Cups. An interesting juxtaposition, right? Polar opposites. 180. We have a happy squirrel. Okay. I can see what's happening here. Yes, I can. I get it. Okay. Let's get these lined up so that we can fit all four on the board. Okay. And the last card is the Seven of Wands. That's taken an interesting turn and twist. Okay, so we've got all the cards on the board. Let's go over them. We have the Nine of Swords. We have the Ten of Cups. We have the Happy Squirrel, which is an exclusive card. And as you can see, it's really like the sun, okay? This person is happy. They have their money, and it's all good. And then we have the Seven of Wands. Okay. Now, we start the story out with the Nine of Swords. And this is Jimmy Hoffa, because he has a lot of sleepless nights about things that he's doing, things that he has uncovered in his line of work. I mean, to be honest, I don't know what who Jimmy Hoffa, what did he do? Law enforcement? Okay. So yeah, he had a lot of really sleepless nights, and there were people that were out for him is the best way to describe it. People, I'm hearing wanted blood. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. People wanted blood. And he was mixing with the wrong people. He was mixing with the wrong people. And he got wrapped up with the wrong people, and he made them angry, and he knew it. He knew in his line of business. You know, in his line of business. I just keep getting was he in law enforcement? Yeah. He led something. He was on top of his game in whatever it was that he did. But I keep getting law enforcement for him. So I don't know why, but I just get law enforcement. If he was not, okay, if he was not in law enforcement, he was involved with, legal, like police and like the Department of Justice. I mean, I get law enforcement strong in his world. And so anyway, he knew what was coming because he was getting the Nine of Swords and he was also giving the Nine of Swords. And those in power did not like that. But he was in power also. He was also in power. Then we have the Ten of Cups. Now, I want to go back to the Nine of Swords because he was just, here's what I get. He was brutalized. I mean, his body was, he was beaten and just brutalized. I just see every inch of his body was just completely pulverized. A lot of it was like pulp. I mean, he was just beaten. People just had, my God. I get a person started this snowball effect where I'm hearing they just grabbed him, they just took him and he vanished. We know that he vanished. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, I can just really feel it's just like the beating and the kicking and just, okay, so he dies. Now the Ten of Cups comes in, and now this Ten of Cups is short-lived though for the people and a particular person that wanted him gone. They got their Ten of Cups. And they also got their happy squirrel. So these go together because we know the Ten of Cups is the happiest card in the deck, right? The Ten of Cups is you just get your wishes fulfilled. It's everything. It's a fairy tale ending is the Ten of Cups. And that's exactly what it was for this person that wanted Jimmy Hoffa gone. But it's the Ten of Cups for everyone because he was just irksome. He was vexing to people. And they just, people just wanted him gone. But he was dealing in things that Jimmy Hoffa, that he should not have been dealing in. Irrespective of what he was dealing in, though, the brutality and the way that his life was taken was just not necessary. People shouldn't be taking people's lives anyway. But his was taken in the most brutal way. So they had the Ten of Cups and they had the happy squirrel. And like I was saying earlier, the happy squirrel is the happiest card in the deck. So let's just put it like this. This person had the Ten of Cups and the Sun when this was done. Because again, Jimmy had sleepless nights. He knew they were coming. He had that sixth sense. He felt it. And if you were to talk to whomever his wife, or if he had a wife and children, or those that were close to him, they would say up to the time that he was taken, he was not sleeping well. He had, he was drinking heavily and just, he was trying to make it go away, but he knew there wasn't anywhere he could go. He wasn't going anywhere. He couldn't hide. No one was willing to help him. No one was willing to hide him. No one was going to stick their neck out for him, because if they did, they were going to get the Nine of Swords. And that was well known. Do not help. As a matter of fact, it was put out there. Do not help Jimmy Hoffa. And if we find out that you're helping him, if we find out that you have aided and abetted, if you have gotten him safe pass, whatever. If we even think that you did that, you're going to have problems. And that's the seed that was planted in the minds of a lot of people that would have been otherwise willing to help Jimmy Hoffa. But because he was threatened, it was like, no can do. All of a sudden, all of the people that had supported him when he was the man, so to speak, it just fell off. It was like instantaneous. It was boom. Those people are gone. No one here to help him. So they got their 10 of cups in the sun, aka the happy squirrel, or happy squirrel, aka the sun. But then and it was really, let me just go back to this because I'm getting this message. It was about money, which makes perfect sense. Because whatever Jimmy Hoffa did, it revolved around money. Whatever his power was around money. And he could shake things, he could shut things down, literally, and say, no, this is what you're going to give us. That's the kind of power that he had. And his power and his influence shut things down. And that caused money for people. People weren't getting their acorn, or they weren't getting the sun because he was covering it with the moon. He was halting things because he just had that kind of power. He was brought into this world to have that kind of power, but he didn't wield it properly, is what I'm getting. Because he came into this world to be powerful, is what I get. Jimmy Hoffa came into this world to be a powerful force, but he chose to use it in the worst possible way. He didn't wield his power properly. He didn't move the people in the right way. He got a taste of that power, and then it was all consuming for him. Okay. So the people were losing money when Jimmy Hoffa was around. And then when he was, kicked into oblivion, when he was pulverized, when he became pulp, and his body was then placed in different parts of the country. I didn't even get Hoover Dam. He was just all over the place. His body was all over the place. Okay, so they got their money. They got good times again. But then the Seven of Wands ends the story, which is interesting. And that has to be, the Seven of Wands is about defiance. It's negotiation, self-defense, standing your ground, trying to remain on top. See how this person's on a tightrope? And we have all of these wands, all of these sticks that, people are trying to poke and bring this person down. And it stems from that person is the person that said, they made the call. It's like when you go hunting, this is the best description, right, I can give you for a visual. You know how people go hunting and they get their gear, but they get everything they need. But the most important thing that they need when they're hunting are the dogs, right? And so they have a lot of dogs, and their dogs are on leashes, and their dogs are pulling. They're pulling the leash because the dogs are out there and they know what they have to do. So once they get to the people that are hunting, once they get to their destination, they kneel down to the dog. They whisper something in the dog's ear. The dog's tail is pointed. Their ears are pointed up. And the minute they take that leash off, the dogs are gone. Poof. It's like that. It's just it's immediate. And that's what happened to him. The dogs were let loose. The dogs knew what they had to do. They had their direction. They heard the whisper, the call in the ear, and they took off and they got their prey. Because that's what dogs do. They're animals and they have a prey. So it all comes back to this person who's on this tightrope, who sick the dogs, let the leash go. That's this person. The dogs are now off and they're doing what they're doing to give this individual, their 10 of cups and their sun card, right? They're giving them that by sicking the dogs on them. And now the dogs have come back because they don't like what's happening. The people that were part of kicking and pulverizing Jimmy Hoffa, well, they were part of whatever he was doing that was in some instances helping them. And they've had a change of heart, but they're having now sleepless nights because of what they did, and they're playing that over and over in their mind about this man who is laying on the floor and just being taken out, being killed. And so now they're defiant to the person who won the most. I mean, it's a story with a lot of twists and turns, and I'm going to leave it there. I think I've said enough, and it's exhausting being in that energy, but the story needed to be told. So thank you for stopping by the Humble Seer. Until next time, you take good care. We'll talk soon. Bye.